قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون صدق الله العظيم.
Takbir. Come, man. So, which ayah did you recite? Surah Yasin? MashaAllah. So, can somebody give us a translation of that? Any volunteer from the brother side? Which ayah is it? Surah Yasin? 1? 1 to 10. So, Toha, come on. Give us a translation for Surah Yasin. You have your phone, just open it. Okay? I'm doing that on the spot today instead of giving you all the heads up and you don't show up. You can sit there if you want.
Um, Yasin. Wal-Qur'an al-Hakim. By the Quran, rich in wisdom. Innaka lamina al-mursalin. You, O Prophet, are truly one of the messengers. Ala siratim mustaqim. Upon the straight path. Tanzil al-Aziz al-Rahim. This is a revelation from the Almighty, most merciful. لِتُنذِرَ قَوْمًا مَا أُنذِرَ آبَاؤُهُمْ فَهُمْ غَافِلُونَ, so that you may warn a people whose forefathers were not warned, and so are heedless. لَقَدْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى أَكْثَرِهِمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. The decree of torment has already been justified against most of them, for they will never believe. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. It is as if we have put shackles around their necks up to their chins, so their heads are forced up. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون, and have placed a barrier before them and a barrier behind them and covered them all up, so they fail to see the truth. Sadaqallahu alayhi.
Takbir. So, inshallah, we will now invite Imam Abdurrahman Adisakal to the high table to give us a talk on the topic sport and entertainment on the life of a Muslim. Imam is going to talk for like 30 minutes, inshallah. Right now it's about 11:30, so he's going to talk until noon, inshallah. We'll have a chance to ask him questions for about 15 minutes. And after that, inshallah, we'll be going to the to the main event, which is the panel discussion, inshallah. So over to you, Imam.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه إنه من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Today, inshallah, we're going to talk about Islam and sports, or the role of sport in Islam, and what are the teachings of Islam regarding sport. Is the sport something that sport is something that Islam forbids, or is something that is acceptable and permissible in Islam? We have to know as Muslims that Islam gives permissibility, I can say, for everything in life, until somebody transgressed the limit of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Permissibility for everything until somebody transgressed the limit of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about it. Eating. Are you with me? To eat in Islam is permissible. Am I right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to drink is permissible. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kulu washrabu wala tusrifu. Allah says, eat and drink, but do not be wasteful. And if we have to eat, we eat what is halal, not what is haram. Anything we are doing, if we have the fear of Allah in it, and we are doing it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will become halal. To marry in Islam, is it halal or haram? To have a wife, is it halal or haram? It's halal. Until we commit haram by having illegal sexual acts with people with opposite sex, or people transgress the limit of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by choosing somebody else that are not supposed to choose as wife, as husband. That is when it will become haram to do that. The same thing, sports. All the sports that are not against the teachings of Allah are halal for Muslims to partake in it. Running, playing basketball, throwing arrows, even swimming. Is it halal or haram? They are all halal. Only that when you are doing it, you have to remember Allah as you are doing it. Are you with me? When somebody is swimming as Muslim, you swim with taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a man is swimming, okay, just do it right. And even as a man, you don't dress in a way that will be attracting people. That people will be looking at you and commit sins. Are you with me? Do you know that you can be doing sports and people that are watching you will be committing sins as you are doing it? Do you know that? Yes. Talk less of a lady or a woman. At times we see a woman running The cameramen at times will be focusing on those that dress wrongly and those that do not have the fear of Allah in their dressing. Are you with me? It means that in any sport that you are partaking in it, please have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in it. Another point before I go straight to some of the Islamic teachings regarding the sport. Some parents will dislike for their children to partake in sports because some of them they believe that it is a waste of time. Is it a waste of time? No. Are you with me? Is it a waste of time? No. Sport is not a waste of time. Another thing for our parents, I remember back home, they thought that by you partaking in sports, you are committing sins. Even playing what do you call it, football, is it football? Playing football in Nigeria, they say, man, no, it's against the teaching of Islam. When you are playing football, it will be as if you are rolling the head of people like that. I say you are kicking people's head. It's against the teaching of Islam. I remember almost 30 years ago, I went to Nigeria. And by then I was in Sudan. I went to Nigeria. And when I was living in Sudan, I bought bats and the net for table tennis, for paintball. When I took it home and I told my dad, I want to have a table for tennis. My daddy said, no. Our father said that it's haram. And I told my dad, I said, Daddy, it's not haram. This is what we are doing every day. Even in Sudan, where we are learning Islam. My daddy said, I know you are learning it over there. And your Imam, your Alfaz, they said that there's nothing wrong in it. But for me here, if people saw you from distance, or they saw it in our house, in our compound, people will be blaming my dad. My daddy said, people will be blaming me. Why do you allow Abdurrahman to bring tools of shaitan into the house? Because they believe that all these things are tools of shaitan. Without knowing that all these sports are permissible in Islam, so far you are doing it to exercise yourself, you are doing it to have good health. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. Let me use ayah of the Quran. Beginning of the ayah in the Quran talks about the women. But the second part of it, Allah says in it, وَعَسَى in Surah Nisa, verse 19. Do you have it with you, Malik? Surah Nisa, ayah 19. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, now, you find it? Allah says in it, you find it? Read it. No. Is it not Surah Nisa? Oh, maybe that's not. I want to read the ayah that says, وَعَسَى أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Where Allah is addressing the issue of the women, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Even if they did something wrong, do not dislike, do not hate them for that. Because asa an takra'u shay'an wa yaj'al Allahu fihi khayran kathira. You may hate something, you may not like it, but possibly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put in it a lot of good things. Look at what is happening now in the world. Before, people thought that playing soccer is a waste of time. Am I right? Today, in this world, among the richest people, they are they are these sport people, people that are playing soccer, people that are playing basketball. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless all of them and bless all our children too. For those that are willing to be a professional, uh, uh, a professional in any of the field that are struggling, that try with, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. Another thing I want to mention here, in order for us to know that Islam recognizes for us as Muslims to be strong, to be able to live this world as strong people, not as weak people, not as lazy people. And that is why Prophet Muhammad said, Al-Mu'min al-Qawi khayrun wa habbu ila Allah min al-Mu'min al-Da'if wa fi kulli khayr. Can someone tell me the meaning of that hadith? Do you know the meaning of hadith? Who knows the meaning of the hadith? Siddiq? Dhikrullah, sorry. What is the meaning of the hadith? God, barakallahu fiqh, dhikrullah. You see, he got it. Prophet Muhammad said, Al-Mu'min al-Qawi, a strong believer, khayrun wa habbu ila Allah min al-Mu'min al-Da'if, is better in the sight of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him or her more than the moment that is dying. Can somebody tell me the meaning of dying here? What is the meaning of dying? The thank you, Jazakumullah khairan. Allah loves him more than the one that is weak. Which means that we have to make sure that we too we are strong in whatever we are doing. There is nothing wrong in it for even the old people, like all these grandpas, to try to to do some exercises that will make them stronger. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for each and every one of us. And by us partaking in sports, we are giving our body what the body needs. At times you see some people by just doing some, by just partaking in some activities for some minutes, you see them breathing hardly. They say, well, what's wrong with you? Have you not been practicing, not been doing anything, no exercise at all? That is why Prophet Muhammad said, Inna lijasadika alayka haqqa. Lijasadika Abdamid. Inna lijasadika alayka haqqa. Or bimana lijismika alayka haqq. Who can tell me the meaning of that hadith? Lijismika alayka haqq. Abdullah can partake in it too. He said what? Good. Lijismika, your body. Are you with me, sisters? Prophet Muhammad said, Lijismika, لِجَسَدِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقٌّ. There are some rights that you have to give to your body as Muslim. Part of the right is to exercise. May Allah make it easy for all of us. I remember I used to tell us that at times you can do some exercises. You can be doing some remembrance, doing some adhkar while you are exercising. Are you with me, Jama? Part of the exercise is to walk. Isn't it? Am I right? To walk, even not running, just for you to walk around. As you are walking, you can have it in mind that when Prophet Muhammad SAW said, Do la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulk wa lahul hamd, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. 100 in the morning and 100 in the evening. Can you do that when you are exercising? When you are walking, yes, you can do it. You can be walking around while you are still remembering Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. Let me give you some of the ahadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his teaching, he is encouraging us to do exercise, even to do it with our spouses, to go out and do some exercises. In hadith of Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, أنها كانت مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في سفر. It was said that our mother Aisha was with us with Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم on a journey. Our mother said, فَسَبَقْتُهُ. I compete with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I won him by going faster than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Are we getting it? It's musabaqah. You can compete with your wife, with your spouse, with your khatiba. Hey, for the children that are talking at the back, can somebody tell me the meaning of khatiba or khatiba? Hey, can someone tell me the difference between khatib and khatiba? Who can tell me the difference between khatib and khatiba? Hey, raise up your hand if you know it. Khatib, dhikrullah? Oh, thank you. You try. You try. For those that are coming in, what is the difference between khatib? Listen, Abdul Hamid. What is the difference between khatib and khatiba? Eh? Okay, thank you. We're not talking about lecturers today. Abdullah Lakukon. What is the difference between this is my khatiba and this is my khatib? Eh? Okay, no good. Who knows it here? Yes. Say it, say it, say it. Now? What did he say? Okay, who knows it? Oh, okay. I was talking about spouses. I said, you can do some competition with your spouse. And I mentioned khatibu and khatiba. Khatib is your fiancé. Khatib is who? Is your fiancé. The one that you are proposing to marry. But when you are doing the same, but when you are doing that, do it in an open area. Are you all with me? Because the time we will be having program. If I see Abdul Malik going around with somebody, or Abdul Hamid going around with, don't worry, Abdul Rahman. It's not, listen, it's not haram for you, Allah to come. For you to go around here with somebody, if I see you going in front of the masjid with somebody, I will just say, Salaam alaikum. Trust me. I'm not going to query you for that. But if you are together in an hidden area, Grandpa Gofan, are you getting what I'm saying? If you are in a hidden area, that is when I will condemn and say, no, why you doing that? But if you are just going around, doing some exercises, walking, I will just say, oh, Salaam alaikum, Malik. Everything is good. Just tell me it's good. That was what happened between Prophet Muhammad sallam and our mother Aisha. Khatib is the man and Khatiba is who? The lady, the one you are proposing to marry. You can also work together. You can do some halal exercises together. Our mother Aisha said, for sabak, just listen. If you have questions, you can ask me later. Okay? Our mother Aisha said, when I compete with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, I went past him in the first round. But when I became a little bit heavy with a lot of with the, when I became a little bit, I don't want to say I became big. Is it big or what language can I use for that? Not fat. I don't want to use fat. Eh? When I became chubby a little bit, then I compete with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, and he won. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu said, "Hadihi bitilka." This one that I won is to replace the one you won before. May Allah make it easy for all of us. And in order for the parents to know that you have to encourage your children when they are willing to do sport to do that. Prophet Muhammad said, "Alimu awladakum al-rimaya." Teach your children how to throw, what do you call it? Eh? The arrow. Or the arrow what they are throwing today. Hey, what's the name? During the time of Prophet Muhammad, what they were throwing was arrow. But now they're doing something else. Can somebody tell me? Not only gun. You see that, what do they call it? What do they call it? Juvenile? That's it that they throw. Eh? Javelin? Okay. You see, people are doing that today. Prophet Muhammad, he said, teach your children how to throw arrow. What's the Teach your children swimming. Many of our children, especially those that are coming from Africa, from Nigeria, they do not know how to swim. Tola, are you with me? What did I say? I said what? They don't know how to swim. We have to teach them as parents. If we have to pay for permit, do you know how to swim now? Hey, why you laughing? If you don't know how to swim, tell me, and I will pay for it, inshallah. Prophet Muhammad said, Teach your children how to ride horses. These were the sport during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah, some of our parents today, they are spending their money to train their children how to play, how to do some exercises. Basketball. Even some are spending their time to take their children to where to practice. These are part of the teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in iman and make it easy for us. I said, anything you are doing, that you are doing it with the fear of Allah, with the intention to strengthen yourself, to make yourself prepare for your salat, for all other activities, you are worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through it. One can be running as he is running, he's doing it in order for him to become to get stronger. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us iman. Another hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in order for us to know that whenever you are doing this sport with the intention to achieve certain goals in life, Alhamdulillah, many of our children, they are trying to become professionals. We are praying to Allah to make it easy for them. You know, uh, uh, with the help of Allah, with the help of Almighty Allah, with His tawfiq, we were able to achieve all these properties because of our brother that he is a professional. Can someone remember the name of the brother? Aisha, can you remember the name of the brother? Eh? Say it. Thank you. Abdulrahman said, but Akim Olajuwon, let's say, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless him. May Allah continue to be with his family and protect him. May Allah provide for us many professionals within our community so that whenever we are in need of anything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will use them for us. In this hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, كل شيء ليس من ذكر الله فهو له. Anything that there is not any remembrance of Allah in it, it's just a play. إلا أعطى people, except for things that if you are doing it with the intention of keeping yourself, your body fit, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be rewarding you for doing it. Prophet said, number one, مشي الرجل بين العبدين, for a man to be walking between two poles, between the spaces, with the intention to exercise himself. When Prophet mentioned مشي الرجل, it also covers مشي المرأة, for a woman also to have a space where she is walking to strengthen herself. She is also worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if he has that good intention. وَتَدِي بِهِ فرصة, and when he is riding a horse, when you are riding a horse, for you to exercise yourself, for you to have good health, because Prophet Muhammad said, وَلِجَسَدِكَ أَوْ لِجِسْمِكَ حَقٌّ, your jasad deserves some right from you. But you doing it with that intention, you are worshiping Allah, Allah will reward you. And Prophet Muhammad said, وَمُلَاعَبَتُهُ آلِهِ. Hey, who can tell me of the meaning of mula'aba? Abdullah? Alive. Zamatala. Play. Mula'abatu alihi. When He is playing with his family. What's his name? And if Mullah Abatu early, when a man is playing with his family, listen to me. Mullah Abatu is when you are playing with your wife, when you are playing with your husband, when you have tennis at home, and the man and the woman, the husband and wife, they are praying together. By them doing that, they are also worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will not be queried for that. I remember there was a day in one of our programs, a brother asked me, can a man, listen to this, can a man be playing with his spouse and Allah will still be rewarding him for doing that? I said, thank you, Tukulai. Yes, by you doing it, he knows it. Thank you, thank you. Let's say, Tukulai, how old are you now? 22, 23, mashallah, you've graduated. When are you getting married? Very soon. Hey, because what Prophet said here is when a man and his wife, when they are playing together, any level of play, to any level, you it's like it's a form of exercise. And when you are doing it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be rewarding you. What the first thing that Prophet Muhammad mentioned is when you are learning the Sibaha, inshallah, I tell will find time to go and learn how to swim. Because I myself, I don't know how to swim. I will need to, maybe my children will sponsor me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. May Allah increase us in iman and answer all our prayers. We are saying that whenever you are doing sports and you are doing it to achieve in order to benefit yourself or to benefit your family or to benefit the ummah, you are worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you are doing it, you should know that you are giving your body its right. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. I've been asking the leadership of the community. I think the president is here. I've been saying that our boys are having their basketball. When are we to create a basketball court for the sisters? Please, I want you to do it as soon as possible. Between now next summer, we want our girls to have their own covered basketball area. Do you want it? Yes. Please make sure you get it done. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. May Allah increase us in Iman. I don't know if I still have some time to continue. As Muslim, when you are doing sports, we need akhlaq. We need what? We need akhlaq. You can't be playing basketball with the intention to hurt somebody else. You know, some people are doing that, Abdallah. While they are playing, you see them kicking some people. You see them dunking on people. At the time they are dunking on him, they will try to hurt him. Am I right? You see people playing the soccer, and as they are playing the soccer, they try to break other people's leg intentionally. As Muslims, we must have the intention to enjoy ourselves and to prove the teachings of Islam in whatever that you are doing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. May Allah accept all our efforts as ibadah and reward us abundantly. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين جزاكم الله خير.
Takbir, takbir. It's interesting to see, Imam challenging his son, Abdul Hamid. And so you have a open ticket right now. So I think Imam's going to sign you up for anything you want to do. So I think that's an open ticket for him. So inshallah, now we have some time to take maybe a few questions on this topic before we call out the panelists. So please, if you have any question, feel free to. Because of time, I'm just going to take numbers so that we don't overrun the time, inshallah. So, number one, Sharaf, number two. Any other questions here? Sister side, you have questions? No? Okay. So for now, we have two questions, inshallah.
Okay.
Brother.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I noticed, Imam, you talk about arching, swimming, running.
Yeah.
But there's another sport that I want you to mention, whether is it halal or not, like martial arts, karate, self-defense, wrestling, and stuff like that. What is it? What does Islam say about that? Thank
All
you.
this wrestling, is it martial arts, karate, is also, there are two opinions regarding that. For example, boxing. Some ulama say that boxing is haram because by you boxing other person, your intention is to wound him. And in Islam, it's not permissible to have that intention. But the time now will not permit us. I read an hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallam, where Prophet sallam himself was watching two people they were wrestling. You see the wrestling? Two people that were wrestling to show which among the two was stronger. Are you with me? With that, A is stronger than B. When we're in need of an exercise where we need somebody that will represent us, we know that ABC can represent us. When the ABC are not around, then we can choose D or B. Are you with me? Yeah. But as we are doing it, as we're exercising it, this martial art or the wrestling, boxing, we have good intention that we are doing it just for the purpose of serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, policemen, they have to go to training. Even the soldiers, they have to go on training before they can be able to face the enemies. Yes. Second question. Alaikum salam.
Jazakallah khairan for this beautiful session. Yeah, mashallah is a big session. So I know sports is allowed as you have taught us. But there is one important part of the sport. I don't know whether I missed it because I came late a little bit. It's about the aura of the men and the women. So for men, so I mean, based on what you have taught us, the Prophet said from the abdomen up to our knee should be covered, and any part of our body should not be shown. Likewise for the women, so how are they going to participate in the sports without showing their aura, wearing tight fitted or something like that? Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Jazakumullah khairan. I think I mentioned it. Did I mention it before? Yes. I mentioned it that when you are doing sports, you still have to fear Allah. I said it is no for sisters to wear something anything that will be showing their bodies. It is no. And also, it's a no for the man too. If you know that if you put on some sport wears that will be showing some areas of your body, and other people will look and say, wow, then it will become haram. Are you with me? We have to be sure that we put on the sport dress that will cover our aura. May Allah increase us. Do I answer your question? Yes.
And any other question from the sister side? It's like our sisters are not interested in sport. No, don't tell me that. But yeah, do you have any questions? No? How many of you guys are playing sport except her? Except Amina? Come on. I think, Imam, we need to do something here. I think our sisters are busy making makeups and stuff. No. Oh, sorry. All right. So, inshallah, Jazakumullah khairan, Imam. May Allah reward you abundantly for the, word of advice and insights from Quran and Sunnah on the topic. So, inshallah, Imam will still need to be around in case, we have some tough questions from the audience. Inshallah, can help us. So, inshallah, now we move to the next segment of this session, inshallah. And I think I need someone to help me out with the arrangement here. We need to take this rid of this table. Abdullah. So, inshallah, the next session will be hosted by our son, and I think he's an athlete as well. At least I know that he has a YouTube channel that he aspires to be a basketball player one day. And I understand from most of my, from most of the people follow his YouTube channel. So inshallah, I'll call Abdul Malik Salami to come up and introduce the panelists to us, and inshallah to give us the format of the panel discussion. Inshallah. Takbir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First off, I'm going to be telling you guys the format of the panel today. We're going to have all the four athletes come up onto the stage, and we're going to start off with athlete-specific questions based on each person's sport and whatever experiences they have gone through. And then after that, we're going to do one category-specific. I think we have four categories. We're going to be asking them questions based on each category, and each of them are going to answer the questions that we asked. Only a few questions, so it shouldn't take too long. But first, we're going to start off with a video of Amina Adisa, the track star. I think they have a short video planned for her. And after that, we're going to get into introductions, inshallah. Give a round of applause. So I think, wait, I think it's recording. Oh, is there? To start, we're gonna we're gonna start off with introductions. First off, we have Amina Adisa, who is a talented track athlete who has excelled in both high school and college, representing Rice University. She graduated at Hastings High School. She was born in Houston, and she is 18. Please welcome Amina Adisa to the stage. Next off, we got Aisha Ajoa, who graduated from Harmony School of Innovation, Sugarland, Texas, class of 2023. Aisha Ajoa is an accomplished volleyball player representing St. Edward's University. Please welcome Aisha Ajoa to the stage. 16 years old, born in Canada, sophomore going to junior at Elkins High School, Missouri City, Texas, future class of 2025, talented guard slash forward and all position basketball player on Elkins High School basketball team. Please welcome Hanif Elias to the stage. Standing at 6'5", Abdullah Alajuan is an accomplished college basketball player who has represented the University of Missouri. Please welcome Abdullah Alajuan to the stage. So now since we are done with introductions, I think we're going to begin into athlete-specific questions, starting with Amina Adisa. Amina Adisa, she's a talented track athlete who's excelled in high school and college, representing Rice University. Along her journey, she may have encountered challenges and expectations from her Nigerian parents. The first question we have for Amina is, Nigerian parents often place great emphasis on academic achievements. How did you navigate any challenges or expectations from your parents while pursuing your athletic dreams? And what advice do you have for other young athletes facing similar situations? I think there's a mic right there. Testing.
Okay, so I was blessed, alhamdulillah, for like having supportive parents of, my my athlete career, I guess. But I've been in sports since like fourth grade. But the only concerns my mom had was when I was playing basketball, I guess, because she was like, "Oh, it's aggressive, you're gonna get hurt," and all that stuff. But once they like realize that you can hold your own, and like once they like have trust in you, then the rest will follow. Like it'll get easier once you just have proper communication with them, and allow your coaches to maybe speak with them. But yeah, that's the best way to fix a possible problem.
The we have a second question for you. Also, the advice for other young athletes who are facing situations with challenges with their parents.
Okay. Actually, okay. So basically I have this track teammate. She's also a hijabi and everything, and a hurdler. Um, Her mom had concerns with the clash of Ramadan, the fasting, while competing in sports. And that's probably the main reason that most Muslim parents are against, as like Muslim athletes and everything. But for that, I would say it's really mainly of mentality because physically our bodies are more capable of like of what we like believe it can do. So it's just about having a mentality and having them like trust you. And of course, if like you physically are not able to hold up with all that it like physically entails, then you can stop. But I'm saying you have to have a proper conversation with them because it's all about trust at the end of the day. And if you need to pull out, it's never that serious. It's not like, oh, it's the end of the world, but they should have trust in you. Like my dad, he's right there in the white. But yeah, I had to definitely convince them and everything that I'm okay. I'll be fine. I've never fainted, alhamdulillah. Or, I know it's been tough, like to not drink water or eat while you compete, but you just have to have that faith that Allah's got you.
Well, Khairon, for your answer, we got a second question for you. As a track athlete, you have achieved notable success. How has your athletic journey impacted your personal growth and development, both academically and athletically?
Okay. Um, So this is my college advice. Like when for incoming seniors or something that are gonna be doing applications, it's all about extracurriculars, okay? And being a triathlete definitely helped like strengthen my resume and everything because they want to see you a part of like your community, doing things other than just academics. So being an athlete definitely helps, and other clubs and stuff like that, like volunteering. But yeah, helping out and everything. So I just say like I don't know, being active and maybe trying to even have leadership roles. Like I was co-captain of my cross country team, captain of track. Like they want to see that you're there and that you're committed. So try to do it all 4 years of high school or whatever, college also maybe. But yeah, just try to be there and be active and be a an essential and helpful role in the team.
Well, Khairon, for your answer. Now we're going to move on to Aisha Ajo. As we know, volleyball is a demanding sport that requires both physical and mental strength. The first question we have for Aisha is, as a Muslim athlete, how do you maintain your Islamic identity within the volleyball community? And are there any specific practices or routines that you incorporate into your training and competition?
Okay, so actually, that was one of the major problems that my mom had when I first told her I wanted to start playing volleyball. She was worried because, volleyball, they mostly have us wear like shorts and short shirts. But at first, I was like, okay, how am I going to like overtake this? Because how am I going to be able to play differently, dress differently from my other teammates? So I told her, I was like, okay, let me go talk to my coach and figure out what we can do. So what I did was when we were getting our uniforms, I specifically asked for longer sleeves, and I didn't wear the tight shorts. Instead, I wore my own like gym shorts, and I wore like tights under, and I wore socks. So it was like so I was able to be fully covered. So even though I looked different, it still felt good because I was able to like follow Islam and still do what I wanted to do.
That's a good answer. Jazakallah khairan. The second question we have for you is balancing academics and athletics can be challenging for student athletes. How have you managed the pressure of excelling in both areas, and what advice do you have for others in these situations?
So actually, when it came to academics and volleyball, I almost like failed at that because ninth grade was like the year that I had a full year of volleyball. I was able to balance school and do volleyball well. And I didn't get to play volleyball 10th grade because of COVID. So junior year, I tried out, made varsity, went to a couple of games, and then next thing you know, I started noticing that my grades started dropping, and I was more focused on playing volleyball than I was in doing my work. So the solution that I made for me was to quit volleyball. Actually, I stopped playing because I was like, it's junior year. It's like the most important year of high school. You really need to be on your A game if you really want to like get accepted to these schools that you're trying to get to. But another solution that I could have done was like balance it all. But for me, I couldn't do that because volleyball, there were times where you go to games and your games would be over at like 9 p.m. and by the time you get home, you're tired. And junior, I was taking like a lot of hard classes. Like it was a lot. So I couldn't like play volleyball and do academics. But you can always do your work while doing practice, especially if you're in varsity. You play games after JV. So while JV's playing their games, you could do your homework and you could do the necessary stuff that you have to do so that when you get home, you just go to sleep immediately and you won't have to stay up all night studying or doing all that. But I couldn't do that. So yeah.
Jazakallah khairan for the answer. We're going to move on to Hanif now. You have the mic. Hanif, being that you are a young athlete, you may have faced unique challenges relating to manage academic and athletic responsibilities. The first question we have is, as a high school athlete, how do you handle the pressure of balancing your academic commitments with your passion for basketball? And are there any strategies or support systems that have helped you throughout the way?
Yeah, I definitely think that it is definitely hard. Because for me, I'm not Hafiz, so I'm also memorizing Quran as well. So doing all three things, school, basketball, and Quran, it can definitely get challenging. But I feel like it all comes down to like planning and like knowing when you have to do things and just planning your schedule, planning your day. People ask me all the time, like, why aren't you out? Why aren't you like, because my friends, they all go out, my teammates. But, I have to, do Quran, and then I also have to come back to do my schoolwork. So during the season, obviously, it can get really challenging because you have practice right after school. Then I come back home. Then I have to go to my Quran class, and then I also have homework and anything else I have to do for that day. But it all comes down to planning. So if you plan exactly what you're going to do and follow your own schedule, it gets really easy, and you just start going with the flow. And as for support systems, obviously my parents, they're really helpful because they keep me in check. Sometimes I don't want to go to Quran class. I don't want to I don't want to do my homework, but my parents, they help me, they keep me in check, they make sure I'm doing what I have to do.
Well, khairan. The next question we have is, the pursuit of excellence in both academics and athletics can be demanding. Can you share an experience where you overcame a significant challenge or setback and how it contributed to your personal growth as an athlete?
Um, yeah, so basically at the beginning of my freshman year, basically the first year of high school, I tried out for the basketball team. I made it, and just like Aisha, Joe, like I noticed my grades start dropping a little bit because it's really demanding. You have practice every single day, and obviously my parents weren't too happy with that because they really care about my academics. So I had to have a talk with them. But like another thing with your parents is if you have open communication, like they really listen to you and you have like an honest conversation with them, you can really make things work. And that's what worked for me. Like I talked to them and I told them, okay, well, here's how we can balance both things. So you can be happy and then I can be happy and I can play basketball. And then you can also make sure that, I'm doing my work and getting good grades. So once I had that talk with them and we managed to like make a schedule and I started planning things out, like I overcame it and then, everything got better. My grades started going back up. And, even with that, my parents, they became, once my grades started going up, my parents like, okay, well, you can do more stuff. So they tried to take me more basketball things. And that helped me grow as like an athlete. And then also like academically, I kept getting better. So
Jazakallah khairan. Now we're going to move on to Abdullah Olajuwon. As a Muslim athlete, you have undoubtedly faced unique challenges and experiences while maintaining your Islamic identity. The first question we have is, how has your faith influenced your approach to the game and your interactions with teammates and opponents?
I feel like I grew up around like Islamic principles. So like the dealings, like I've seen it in front of me, with my own eyes, like from my dad, he set a good example. So to me, it's just following the footsteps. So like if I fall into a situation that I don't know, I'll just think like, how did my dad deal with the same situation? Because my dad been through every situation. So like just following through the footsteps, really.
The second question we have for you is, in the world of college basketball, where the focus is often on performance and winning, how have you managed to stay true to your Islamic values and uphold your character on and off the court?
Uh, it was challenging, but at the same time, it fell in line because like we would have practice like at 5 o'clock in the morning, but Fajr would be at 5:30. So like I'll tell my coach like before everything started when I first got to campus, I told my coach, my principals, everything, what time I pray. Told them I have Friday prayer. So like if practice ever falls in line of practice and prayer, it would give me a certain amount of time where I could go pray and then I come back to practice. So I never compromised my principles, just stayed true to them and just stuck it out and just made set everything straight. Because once you set it straight, they have to respect it because faith over everything. So that's it really.
So that's it for the athlete specific questions. We're going to go into topic based questions. So we're going to start from Amina again. And I think any of you guys can chime in and answer if you relate to any of these questions. So the first topic we have is maintaining Islamic identity as an athlete. So the first question is, how has being an athlete impacted your Islamic identity, and how do you balance your religious beliefs with the demands of your sport?
Okay, so I would say sports definitely strengthened my iman. Like basically, once you like, okay, so for track meets, definitely I heard whispers and stuff like, "Oh, what is she wearing?" Because I have a Nike hijab and everything, and it's definitely different. But that like it was very interesting to see their reactions change once they actually saw me perform, and I was like, oh wow. But I remember a slick comment actually. It was from a coach from a different school. Anyway, it's not even a kid, but there was like, oh, what are you about to go skiing? I was wearing full long sleeves and tights, and right when he said that, I went to go triple jump, and I actually PR'd, and everyone was like, "Ooh, wow!" But yeah, it definitely it allowed me to see how the world really is, and that at the end of the day, you can't change what people say, how people think about you, but you can basically control your reaction to those reactions. So yeah.
If you guys want to answer. The question is, how has being an athlete impacted your Islamic identity, and how do you balance your religious beliefs with the demand of your sport?
I feel like religion is like a broad topic. So like if somebody is unsure of the situation, like they're ignorant, so like you wouldn't pay attention to them because like they're ignorant. You know what I'm trying to say? Because like everybody knows the topic, and like if you was wearing a hijab and somebody said, "What are you going skiing?" That's proving his ignorance. You know what I'm trying to say? Because like you got your beliefs and they don't know what the beliefs is and they're trying to joke about it. It just shows their ignorance. So like to me, I wouldn't pay attention to those type of people. But to me personally, I just stand on my beliefs. And like if somebody doesn't want to fall in line, I'm not worried about them. I'm just worried about Allah. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get you. Okay. Jazakallah khairan. Anyone else want to answer?
So for me, I'd say honestly, being a hijabi and playing volleyball is like two contradicting stuff, but you can actually really make it work. Because for me, I don't see myself ever going into a game without reading like a short ayah or a short surah or saying something like reading Kursiyu or something like that. Because I feel like if I don't do that, then it all based on how I do my performance, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that's actually guiding me to play well. And sometimes, like what she said, there are people who will lash at you because of how I dress. Like for me, people like the opposing team that we played, they were like always they would say snarky comments, be like because I used to wear a Nike hijab too, like that was small, and they would be asking me why I was trying to be so different, and I'll just be like, I just look at them and I just be like, I don't answer, because it's my religion, it's my belief, but it doesn't really affect how I do my game. It doesn't affect my performance because honestly, I'm better than you, so it doesn't really matter what you say. Like, yeah.
Allahu Akbar.
Um,
Okay.
wait, let me add on
You
real
guys want
quick.
to add?
For when she said she recites like a surah or a short verse or something, my favorite verse that everyone knows, to be honest, it's فَإِنَّمَا الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّمَا الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Like I used to recite the whole surah, but that was the main like mentality, like phrase that I needed to say to remind myself that through hardship there comes ease. Barely through hardship there comes ease, because I had so much anxiety when it came to 300-meter hurdles. Everyone knows that's like a really hard event to do, but you have to brace yourself mentally as much as all these other sports as well. So like to have that to fall back on, it's definitely important.
Okay. The next question we have is, have you faced any specific challenges or opportunities related to maintaining your Islamic identity within the sports community? And if you have, how have you addressed them? have you faced any specific challenges or opportunities related to maintaining your Islamic identity within the sports community?
Yo, you want to answer first?
You got anything to say?
mean, there were challenges, but at the same time, there were not really challenges because I already knew what I was gonna do. Because if it was a challenge where it's this, if it's my dean or basketball or my dean or anything, I'm always choosing my dean. So it wasn't really a challenge, but at the same time, it was a challenge to let other people know, like my coaches and like my teammates, because my teammates also hold me accountable, like why we're at practice. But once you explain it, they understand. Then after that, there's not a problem.
Yeah, I agree with him because especially like when you first join a new program, whether it's a new team or yeah, like any new team, you have to go up to your coaches and just let them know first that I'm Muslim. Like for example, during Ramadan, like this Ramadan, like I was playing. It happened during one of my seasons, and we were having workouts for school at the same time. So I had to let all my coaches know that I'm not eating or drinking. But at the same time, it's like I told them that it's not going to affect me. I just wanted to let just in case of anything happening. So it's just you have to let them know first. You just have to be communicative, be open with your coaches and your teammates, and let them know that like whether it's like Salah is during your practice time, you go pray, come back, or if it's on Friday or whatever, you just have to let them know that this is gonna happen. Just be open with them.
Yeah, I want to add on to that actually. For Ramadan, definitely like my coaches helped like essentially because I was able to communicate with them like the demands of fasting and everything, and like even during track meets, like as soon as it was time to break, like they already had food ready. They were very supportive, but also a challenge was Eid was scheduled the same day as my area track meet. Actually, the video clip you saw there. But I found a way to do both. I went to early Eid prayer, and then right after that, I had to quickly go change and everything, and then I went to my track meet after. So there is a way to still balance. You just have to figure out a way to like move your schedule around because Islam comes first, and everything else comes second.
So for me, a challenge that I would say was prayer. Like during volleyball season, it was like when the schedule like the prayer hours were very early, like they were changed. So we would have varsity games. Sometimes those start at like 6 or 7, and around those time was when it was time to pray Maghrib and Isha. And sometimes I couldn't pray the prayers because I was already on court getting ready to play. But when I wasn't on court, like when I was like benched, I would quickly excuse myself, tell my coach, "Hey, I gotta go quickly go pray," and I'll go to like a little corner and just quickly pray. But sometimes I don't forgive myself if I miss a prayer and I had the opportunity to pray it. But then I try to like ease on myself because what I'm really doing is actually like a lot. But I also try to make sure that I pray on time because I do not want to miss a prayer.
The
Yeah.
beer.
And like some piece of advice is like plan your life around your prayers, not the prayers around your life. You know what I'm trying to say? So like if like because times is already set. So everything that you plan during the day is around the times of the prayers, not the prayers around the times of the day. That's just some piece of advice.
The beer. We're going to move on to the topic of securing athletic scholarships. So the first question we have is, could you share your personal journey of securing an athletic scholarship, and what steps did you take, and what advice would you give to aspiring student athletes in that regard?
So I'm not doing college sports actually. I decided not to. Although I did have an opportunity to run at Rice, but I'm deciding to focus more on my major, which is architecture. So it's yeah, I'm gonna give it to them.
So for me, honestly, I haven't even made the decision if I'm gonna play for college yet. Because first of all, I'm gonna be the only black team girl on the team, and that is I don't know, I don't know how I feel about that. But securing it was actually because for me, the best time that I had, best chance that I had to secure an athletic scholarship was actually during junior year and senior year. But like I said, junior year, I quit volleyball early because I wanted to focus on my academics more because it's junior year. And senior year, I started school late. So by the time I came to school, volleyball trials were already over, and coach had already told me that if I missed it, I missed it. So I didn't really have a chance. So what I did was I would play during my off times with my friends. Like I would make them record videos of me doing like maybe like a spike, or they were watching me serve, or they were throwing like spikes at me and I was receiving it. And then I would tell them to send those videos to me, which I lost unfortunately because my phone broke. But last year when I had the videos, I uploaded them, and the colleges that I were going to, I specifically asked for the coaches' emails and stuff, and I emailed them and I was telling them, "Hey, I'm a volleyball player, blah 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 blah. I'm seeking like this and that." You're not asking them to give it to you. You're telling them that if they have an opportunity to give it to you, they should give it to you. So that's what I did, and the school that I'm going to reached out to me and said if I wanted to play volleyball, then they have a spot that is open for me already. So that's basically what I did.
I mean, I think like the school always finds you because every school has their own program. So like if the school sees you and they think that you would fit in their program, they'll like recruit you. They'll probably offer you a scholarship because they're basically offering you money to come to their school. So they have to see something that they like within you that fits in their program. So that's like the best fit. So like if you wanna like reach out, I don't think it would really work because they're supposed to find you because it's their program. You gotta find like the right fit for the person. So really,
The reason why I reached out was because I don't go to public school, so we don't really have the like chances where people come to watch you play. So you have to go to them first, and I let them know. So that's why I guess I was let off easier.
Yeah, since there are some people here that don't go to public schools, go to charter schools, private schools, KIP, Harmony, Yes Prep. So the next question actually goes along those lines. So for the people that don't have the chance to get exposure at those big schools, what are some lesser known pathways or strategies that those student athletes can explore to increase their chance of securing scholarships?
I'm not really sure, but everybody has their own path, you know, because like some people come from overseas, some people just walk on, some people come from JUCO. So like people come from all around the place. So everybody has their own path. So it just doesn't matter how you start, it always matters how you end. So if you don't have a scholarship right now, like if you're looking for one, like just have faith. And if it's not meant to be, then it's just not meant to be, you know? It's just not in your risk. So like just gotta be patient and just know that Allah has something better planned for you. But just always be positive and then just have faith.
Can you repeat the question?
What are some lesser known pathways or strategies that athletes can explore to increase their chances of securing an athletic scholarship? Example could be like, for example, basketball. People go to AAU because they don't get recognition in their school. So anything related to your sport along those lines that people can go through if they don't get recognition.
Okay, so yes, I did AU track for 2 consecutive years, one after my sophomore year and one after my junior, and it definitely was one of the main reasons like I progressed so fast. So basically, because of it, you all get to travel to Florida. Like there was many like opportunities for recruiting and all of that stuff. And it's just like it's a really fun experience either way, even if you don't have the intentions of being a professional or going to play or run in college. But yeah, it's definitely a smart opportunity to do summer clubs and activities and everything. That's definitely how you get apart from the rest, the conditioning on the off season.
So for me, I would say I'm speaking on experience based on volleyball, but I'm sure this applies to every other sport too. I'm sure the colleges, like sometimes not even colleges, clubs will reach out to you telling you, oh, there's summer clubs that you can do around your area, blah blah blah, this and this. You should try to do a lot of those because they not only make you like have fun and they give an experience, and it also teaches you new skills that you need to catch the eyes of coaches and stuff. But even if you don't get a scholarship, you shouldn't beat yourself down because scholarships aren't really everything. They don't really decide, oh, I'm not really good. You could be good. It just wasn't the way Allah planned it for you. But you should never stop playing because you didn't get a scholarship. Because you could always play, like especially in college. There are times where there are open gyms where you can literally intramural where you can literally just go in the gym and play. You don't have to be on a team. And there are times where you could also go in the summer after college. You could still do those summer clubs. They're open for any ages. So yeah.
Well, khairan. We're going to move on to the next topic, which is navigating challenges from Nigerian parents along the journey. The first question we have is: in Nigerian culture, academic achievements are often highly prioritized. How did you navigate any challenges or expectations from your Nigerian parents regarding your athletic pursuits? Anyone can answer.
I I mean, I think it starts off by like if you agree with their principles or not. Because if you don't agree, then there's no point. But like if you are on board and you agree with what they're saying, if what they're saying is true and factual and it makes sense, and you don't agree with it, then there's something wrong with the person, not with what they're trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say? like, so like to be honest, like when my dad talks to me or like any of my parents say something, what they're saying makes sense. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's like it's factual. So I do agree with it. So once you agree with it, you're on board. So there's no problem. It's me and my parents against the problem, not me against my parents against the problem. So it's just like
Okay.
Guys, have anything else to add?
Yeah, I agree with him definitely. Alhamdulillah, I have like very supportive and open-minded parents. So, like I said, like if you just talk to them and you have an honest conversation with them, like he said, like most of the time what your parents are saying, it makes sense. You just have to understand what they're saying. And once you navigate the problem and once you understand like what you're facing, you can find a solution together. You don't have to be like it doesn't always have to be fighting. So, you can navigate the problems together and find a solution and then just go about that and then you can both continue to do what you're doing.
So I wouldn't call it a challenge. I would see it as them trying to help you in the best way that they see fit. Cause my parents, my dad, he loves sports. So when I told him I wanted to play sports, he was very happy. My mom, she was just worried about how I would dress because I'm a hijabi and I'm representing Islam, and she didn't want me to do anything that didn't like speak to that. So all I had to do was me and her. We talked to my coach together, and we were able to navigate the road on how I was going to play volleyball. And she let him know that my daughter, she's Muslim, she's a hijabi, and there are things that will be different. So please just, if you're gonna discriminate against her, let me know so I can put her out. And my coach was like, nah, it's fine, it's cool. So honestly, I don't see it as a challenge. I just see it as your parents just wanting to help you and doing what you love while also practicing the religion that you love in the best way.
Jazakallah khairan for answering those questions. We're going to move on to the next topic, handling pressure of academic and athletic excellence. So, being an athlete and being a student is a challenge at times. So, can you share any strategies or techniques or schedules you made to navigate your time as an athlete and student and how you fit everything all together? How did you plan everything?
Okay. So I got some really good advice from one of my junior teachers, my junior physics teacher. She was saying that when she was younger, her main goal every day, like during the school day, was to not have any homework. So I always brought that mentality with me, and I always try to be as productive as I can during school hours. And I know most people want to just joke around, laugh with their friends, be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it at home." No, I really had time at home, so I had to do it then and there. And I was just trying to make sure to prioritize, be productive, stay on top of things. If you need to get a planner or a calendar, to write things down because there's a lot to juggle, especially your junior year and senior year. But yeah, it's definitely possible to balance it and everything along with sports. But yeah.
Um, Honestly, it's actually quite like you can actually plan it very easy. Because for me, whether you're on JV or you're on varsity, whatever time you have, like, because usually JV you practice first, and while you could also sit down and wait for varsity to practice while they're practicing. You could do your work. And if you're on varsity, JV practice first. So while JV is practicing, you can sit down, do your work, and get it done. And on game days, when we're going to the games, we're allowed to take our backpacks with us on the bus. So I usually just sit down and I do my work before we get there because most of the time I be wanting to join my friends because they be like getting hype and stuff like that, getting ready for the games. But I'm just like, I have a chemistry test tomorrow. I have to prepare. I'm not ready for this. So I just do all that, and so I just finish it so that when I can actually, because it's actually better for me, I can focus when I'm playing games. I'm doing all my homework. I don't have anything else to do, so I can actually play better because I'm relaxed already. Like I have nothing else to do.
Do any of you guys have anything to add?
So I agree with what Amina said. Like she said, make sure you don't have any homework. So doing all your work in school is very important, especially during the season when you have practice. So for me, I had practice. So school ended at 2:45. I had practice until 6, and then 6 I got home. I had to go to Quran class, and then I come back. I have a little bit of time to rest, and I have another Quran class. So I had no like barely any time in between that, and then obviously I went to bed right after. So I had barely any time in between that to finish any schoolwork. So I do all my work in school, And any free time that you may have, if you have any work, you should do it then. So it doesn't interrupt anything else you have to do after school or during the rest of the day.
I'm not sure how it is with other sports, but I know like in basketball and football, if you're not passing, you can't play. So like you have to get your work done. So like just finding what suits you, what's suitable, what time best for you to do your work. So like in college, we have like 3 workouts a day, morning and evening and afternoon. So we have times in the middle. You either have classes or you got something like, or you got some time to eat. So you just gotta find the right time. But me, usually, I just finish the work in class. So it's like I'm learning and I'm finishing the work. So after that, I'm done with that class for the whole day or for the whole week. So that's the best time for me. But just find the best time for you and when you could do your homework because you have to get it done. So just find the best time.
Jazakallah khairan for the responses. We're going to move on to our final topic, which is achieving sportsmanship and unity in a diverse team environment. So, the first question we have is, as athletes coming from different backgrounds, how do you foster unity and create a sense of belonging within your team?
Like in my team, we had like players from Belgium, Germany, Greece. So we had like a lot of people from different places, and especially different states. So we're just all coming together to set one goal. We're trying to win because everybody's trying to win. Once you like, same thing with the parents. Once y'all on board, same thing with the team. Once y'all on board, y'all just achieving what y'all want to achieve. So like if we have to work out 3 times a day to get better to win, that's what we'll do. We'll put our backgrounds aside. Even though people come from different backgrounds, you can still like achieve the same goal. But once you have the same goal, it's easy. But if you don't have the same goal, y'all gonna clash.
Okay, I agree with what Abdullah said because literally for my basketball team, we definitely had to put our differences aside and everything and come together in order to win games. But yeah, there was definitely like times that were like rough and everything when there were like comments, making like fun of each other or making fun of me sometimes. But at the end of the day, you have to communicate with your team what you're comfortable with, like when it comes to joking and everything. And the basically like what makes you different and everything, you do have to communicate with them about that because like when you're getting pizza, oh I can't eat pepperoni, all of that like those diet differences and everything, you have to communicate with that because they're not going to know. Sometimes people just aren't as educated as you may believe them to be.
I agree with her, definitely, especially during like Ramadan and just the diet in general. For example, during Ramadan, I would be playing, and then like I'd go sit on the bench. Somebody hand me water bottle, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm fasting." I'd be like, "Oh, okay." So then it's the same thing. Like you go out to get pizza after the game, you go out to eat. Say, "Oh, I can't eat pepperoni. I can't eat like bacon, all that stuff." But like once they know, they're not gonna forget. So like once they know, they're gonna know, "Oh, you're Muslim, or you're fasting, or you can't eat this, you can't eat that." So you just have to make sure that they know, because like if you join the team, you just tell them they're Muslim, like she said, like not everybody is as educated as you think. So if you just tell them you're Muslim, they're not going to know everything automatically. So you just have to let them know and be open and be communicative.
Jazakallah khairan. The next question we have is, can you share any experiences where diversity within your team has contributed to the overall success growth of the group?
Okay, I think I have a good one for this. So, I think this was junior year when we started our season. We were playing against I forgot the school we were playing against, but it was what's it called? It was our first game since the season started, and I was actually quite nervous because it was my first time ever playing varsity. And coach always told us, varsity's quicker and harder and faster. So I was actually very nervous. And then my friends, they came to me and they were like, Aisha, what is this little Arabic stuff you say before you serve? I was like, oh, you talk about, so I said the surah name. She's like, yes, read that because I can see that you're panicking. So I read it, and then like I guess they were all happy for me or whatever. And then when I got inside the game, I was actually able to have a calm mind because I was panicking that I even forgot to do what I was supposed to do, but my teammates reminded me, and so inshallah that helped us. Like actually, it was very good for me, I guess.
Anybody else? Can you share any experience where diversity within your team has contributed to the overall success and growth of the group?
I mean, I believe like every team you're on, you'll find adversity. There's gonna be disagreement on and off the court because like once you get on the court, everything is moving really fast. So like there's gonna be miscommunications. There's gonna be like situations where it's like, yeah, there's a problem there, but you just gotta get over it and move on because like the game is still moving. It doesn't stop because you have a like disagreement. So you gotta move on. Just know how to figure it out and move on and just try to win. That's it. Yeah, simple.
It's the same question. Yeah. We're gonna move on to the next one. This should be the last one for the day. How can sports be a platform for promoting and understanding inclusivity among athletes from various cultural and religious backgrounds?
Okay, so the one thing I love sports is the universality of it. So basically, like no matter where you come from, you have a certain structure, like rules, procedures, and everything. But at the end of the day, you could bring people together because it's so like you have the same goal in mind, I would say. So like no matter what the team like is made of and everything, different backgrounds, you have a certain goal. So it forces y'all to come together and set aside your differences and everything. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be set aside in a negative way, but more so you could use what makes you different in order to like build people up. Like let's say for basketball, a 7 foot guy, obviously he'll have an advantage over these 5 foot, people. Like you can use them as advantages rather than a negative difference, no matter what.
You got anything else?
I mean, like, you could get along with the people you want, but at the same time, you don't have to get along with people that you don't like. Like, you could keep it professional. Like, you could have teammates and not want to go out with them. You could have teammates and like you don't want to do things with them. You just keep it professional. But when it comes on the court, we're all friends. We're all everything's cool. But like, you don't have to do what they do. Like if they want to go out party, go do this and that. If you want to do it, you could go do it. If you don't because you have differences. So like just the differences is cool. Like it's not a problem for having differences.
Jazakallah khairan. We have one final question. Being an athlete takes a lot of discipline. So, how has being a student athlete increased your discipline or strengthened your sense of discipline in life in general?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure this is like basic common sense. If you're an athlete, you have a lot of responsibilities that are based upon you. Like you have to be a role model and you have to make sure that everything that you're doing is something that codes into the actual thing that you're expected to do. Because as hard as it sounds, you cannot slip up. Like you can have small slip ups, but not the big ones. Like you have to be someone who actually is very hardworking and you have to have a set goal in mind on what you want to do. So there's stuff that you certainly have to like know you can't do. Like for example, you can't even do drugs. Like I would not advise doing that at all. Because there are times where you could actually get cut off the team for life for that if you get caught because they do drug testing at random times. So yeah, like let's say your friends or people who do stuff like that, even if you're not an athlete, you got to learn that that's not something that you should be doing because it's a big no. And as an athlete, you have to make sure that you're not at anywhere near where there's a scene of somebody fighting or there's trouble going on because you have to learn as an athlete you cannot have like outbursts of anger or be the cause of somebody like being injured or stuff because you have to learn self-control and you have to learn to be very responsible about your actions and the things you say. You cannot be disrespectful towards teachers. You cannot be disrespectful towards anyone. You can only be somebody who has this mindset of being a good athlete and a good student. So whether you're on court or off court, you're still an athlete. Like it doesn't matter where you're going, you're still an athlete. So yeah.
I definitely agree with her. You really need, especially if you're an athlete and you're still an athlete, high school, college, whatever level, you have to know how to stay out of trouble and just be like, because at the end of the day, especially like for me in high school, all the coaches are teachers and all the teachers know each other. So if something happens, if you disrespect one of the teachers, if like you get in a fight, if anything happens, the teachers are gonna go tell the other teachers, and eventually the coach is gonna find out. So you just have to know how to carry yourself in a way that everybody knows that okay, this guy's a student athlete. He's not gonna get into trouble. He's not gonna do things that he's not supposed to do.
Yeah, I'd like to build off of what they both said because I know they focus on the school aspect of it, but also like when you're in a meet or a game for cross country, that was my main mental challenge because sometimes we had for we were assigned to do hour runs and we couldn't stop. So like it was really hard to like keep pushing yourself and having that mentality that like no pain, no gain, I guess. And now like whenever I'm doing everyday things and maybe like the other day I was donating plasma and I'm not gonna lie, that needle was hurting. But I was like, you know what? I've done like 6 miles before without stopping. Like you've done worse. You could get through a needle pain. So it's things like that that like help you have real world experience already from like pain and challenges. So yeah.
I mean, I agree with that, everybody. Like, it's true that you're an athlete on and off the court, but at the same time, you're also still a Muslim. So like, you still gotta represent Islam, and like you gotta represent Islam in everything you do, in every action you do, the way you treat people, the way you speak to people, just everything, your day to day life, just the way you move. It's just like I gotta be Islamic because you represent Islam at the end of the day. So that's it.
Everybody give a round of applause for our panelists. We're gonna open the floor for question and answer. So if anybody has questions, you can raise your hands, and I think I'll be passing the mic, right? Okay. So we're gonna start from the brother side. If anyone has a question, you can raise your hand. Or
Okay, now you have questions, girls, huh?
Hanif, I have a question for you. Are you gonna play in college?
Inshallah, yes.
Yay!
That's not a question. Okay. Um,
So why do you guys think that it's important for Muslim youth to get involved with athletics?
I think it's important because it helps in like every aspect of your life, especially within like discipline and planning and scheduling. Because once you I think Aisha said it, like you can't really have like big slip ups. So like it helps like your structure. You basically become more structured, you become more responsible because you know, well, I'm doing something that I really want to do. Like for me, it's playing basketball, volleyball, track. You know, you do something that you really want to do. So if you mess up in anything else that you're doing, you're not gonna be able to do the thing that you want to do anymore. So it forces you basically to be responsible and be scheduled and structured.
Another reason is because of representation, definitely. Like younger kids and everything, they're always like, "Oh my gosh, I want to be like you. Like I'm so inspired. I didn't know I could do this too," and all that stuff. There's ways that you could still, I don't know, be a amazing member of like society. You could still join it in things that, to like just have fun and everything. But of course, stay on your dean, you know. So yeah, it's possible to do both.
But also like when you're young, you don't really have any responsibilities. So like it's good to just have fun, go play sports, do something fun instead of just like not doing anything. So I do recommend the youth to play basketball.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the valuable information you shared. My question is, so you guys talked about like working with your parents, to allow you guys to play sports and everything. And alhamdulillah, I feel like I have a similar experience to you guys, where my parents really like sports, so it wasn't that hard to convince them. But I know there are a lot of people in the Nigerian community that their parents don't even want sports, like even if they're doing good in school and they have everything sorted out. So what's your advice to people like them that really want to play sports, but their parents are not like willing to have those conversations?
by the way, do we have any such parents here today? If we do, I think you need to see our imam. Go ahead, Esther. Yes. Oh, somebody there? I didn't see them. They want to ask a question? No. Oh, question. Sorry, Freddie. Let's answer this question first.
I feel like
Hold on. Let's answer this question from Abdullah. Then we take the next round.
I feel like every parent should be open minded because like their children, their responsibility. Like if their children find happiness in doing sports, I honestly just don't see anything wrong with that. But if they see something wrong with that and they align the pros and cons and it outweighs it and it's more cons than pros, then I understand. But if they could do that, then but I don't believe they could do that. So like I feel like the pros are gonna outweigh the cons. So it's always better to play sports. Unless they could prove me wrong, then I understand. But I don't I feel like if you sit down with them and talk to them and try to outweigh the pros and cons, they couldn't do that. So then if they don't change the way their mentality is, then they're just like being closed minded.
Honestly, I feel like a good Muslim parent would really allow their child to play sports when they see that it's actually helping strengthen their iman and it's not demolishing it. Because if it is demolishing it, then I'm sure that the parent would have a reason to say, hey, you can't play sports no more because it is changing who you are. But if the sports is what is strengthening their child's faith, then I don't see why any parent would say you shouldn't play this anymore. So my advice for parents like that, I would just say honestly, like he said, just try to talk to them, and you could even take them to games and let them see like what it's like and why you want to do what you want to do. Because parents, they should like target doing what makes your child happy, as long as it is in a good light. So yeah.
Building off what she said, a great idea is to try to compromise with them. So be like, allow me to do this sport for like 2 months, see how my grades like progress. If anything, yes, make a deal. Be like, okay, I'll still like attend a rabbit class, or I'll do it on the days that I'm not practicing or stuff like that. Try to compromise with them if that helps.
Sorry. Do you have a question here? Oh, sorry, you.
So my question is for everyone. What is your biggest sacrifice that you've made, like as a student athlete?
Yeah. Biggest sacrifice that still hurts me to this day was quitting volleyball in 11th grade. Like stopped playing completely because I had to focus on my grades. But honestly, looking at how I am now, I would say it was a sacrifice worth making because I didn't quit volleyball. I only stopped playing on the team, but I still continued playing it. But the joys and like, the hypeness I used to get from being on court, it wasn't the same, but it was still like it replaced my grades being good replaced that, I guess. So it was a sacrifice worth making.
One big sacrifice from playing sports is definitely your free time. Like I said earlier, from all of us who play, like you can tell, like there's not a lot of time you have just to like relax. Maybe on weekends, but like during weekdays and during the season, you're not gonna have much time to do anything else besides academics and your sport and practicing. So that's definitely a sacrifice, just having free time. But at the end of the day, it's for something that you want to do and something that you love. So it's worth it.
My biggest sacrifice was moving away from my family. That's my biggest sacrifice. But I think like usually the biggest sacrifice is just dedicating your whole life to it, because like you're gonna have to work out. There's no way you're gonna go a week without working out. So like you're gonna have to work out like on a daily basis because you're basically dedicating your life to it. Because if you're not doing it, somebody else is doing it. So you always like have to get better. So you're basically dedicating your whole life to it.
Sorry, a question right here.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is for future college athletes and those who have any advice about playing sports in college, because I was a very avid soccer player in my high school career. Like I was on the team for like a year, and then I played in and out with masjids and also clubs at my school as well. But when I went to college, I did not see the same opportunities as much as I saw like while I was in school, like in high school. So what is your advice on people who don't necessarily want to like play club sports at school, but they still want to continue to connect with their sport and like to continue to have that outlet for physical activity?
So like I said before, you don't necessarily have to like play for the college. You can still do intramural. I don't know what it's called, but or you could anytime when you come back home in the summer during like after your semester is over with, you could look for clubs that because there are a lot of clubs. You're not old, so you can literally go and play anytime you want. So in the summer when you're like you're done with college and everything, you can still go out there. There are a lot of places that will take you in for wanting to play soccer because you don't necessarily have to play for college. So yeah, you still have open choice.
Hi.
Also,
Assalamu
like
alaikum. Oh, you want to?
just playing with
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you guys for making us proud. My question might be kind of sensitive, but I will find a way to put it better to you. I mean, playing sport or any other extracurricular activities, I know it's kind of probably leisure to you guys, but I know some things that happens out there. How you guys managing it with your friends out there taking out drugs. So are you, you know, did you get my question?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, like we get drug tested, so
There
like
are, yeah, enhancements and other stuff, that that probably if your parents, you don't want somebody to see you doing it, it might not be drug entirely, it might be something else. I know for sure what happens out there, but I'm just asking how you guys managing it or balancing it with coping with them, relating with them, and also listening to your parents at the same time.
I get it. Like it is out there. Like you could be walking around, you can smell it. Like it is out there. But like to me personally, like my parents don't want me to do it. I don't want to do it. My religion don't align with it. And we get drug tested. So like to me, it's going against all odds to do that. So to me, like it's different. Maybe it's different to y'all, but I'm just saying to me, it's like going against all odds to do that. So me personally, I just wouldn't do it. I don't find like I already found my passion, so like I wouldn't go somewhere outside of that and risk everything. Because like if you have something to lose, it is hard to like try to throw it all away.
I would say like when it comes to maybe being invited to like parties that like it doesn't align with the things that you do and everything like that, you have to learn how to say no because at the end of the day, these are teammates like they're your age. You should be able to like have an be able to talk and like explain to them, oh no, I don't be doing that stuff. Like I'm good. Or you should be able to walk away. But it all takes like I don't know, you have to have the courage to like speak up and say your values and what you don't like believe in them doing.
Honestly, speaking to what they both said, it is you will see it every day and it's happening out there and your friends do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it too. Like just because your friends do a certain thing doesn't mean you have to follow in their footsteps. Because if you know that's not you and that's not what you're supposed to do, then why do it? There is no reason for you to have to copy what your friends are doing because honestly, drugs don't make your performance better. You're the one who makes your performance better. So you don't have to do what they're doing just to become like that. So yeah.
I agree with her. It's just about like standing on your ground and standing your own and making sure, like I said earlier, like if your teammates know that you're Muslim and they know your morals, then if they do ask you, then just tell them, oh, I don't do this stuff, I'm Muslim, and it's that easy. And then they're gonna know in the future that okay, well, he doesn't do that. I'm not gonna invite him to parties. I'm not gonna ask him to do this, that, because they're Muslim, and that's just not what he does in the first place. So
So, speaking to what he said, it is true. If people know that you're a Muslim, they would definitely not ask you to do bad stuff. Like, if they know that you're someone who doesn't do stuff like that, they would not even do it in front of you because they realize that, oh, this person doesn't even, like, they don't even agree with this, so why would I do it in front of them? They wouldn't feel comfortable doing it in front of you. So, honestly, I don't even be seeing stuff like that because my friends know I don't like stuff like that. So they don't even come to me with that thing because they already know that I'm gonna be like, no. So yeah, it's really simple.
And
Yeah,
relating
I'm
back
gonna build
to
on what she said. So basically, yeah, usually when it comes to that stuff, they're like, yeah, don't be doing that. Like, let's not go up to her and stuff like that. And it's all about respect. If they respect you, then they're not gonna do that stuff around you or offer you bacon and ham and all that stuff. I remember someone asked me a question. It was like, ham or pork sandwich or whatever. They were doing a lunch order. I was looking at them like, what? And then everyone started laughing. They was like, bro, she don't eat that. Like, don't ask her that stuff. So yeah, eventually they're gonna catch on and everything. And I mean, you can all laugh about it later when it comes to like miscommunication and everything.
Yeah, but relating back to what I said, like you could have teammates, but you could be professional about it. Like we're here to play basketball. I'm not here to be your friend and go do drugs and stuff. So you could just be professional about it. When we're on the court, we're friends, but when we're off the court, we do our separate things. So just keep it professional.
Uh, I'm Hakeem. I'm a junior at the University of Houston. I play football. And going on with what you guys are talking about, I want to talk about the pressure that your sport brings to you. Pressure from your family, from your communities, wanting to be the best person at that sport that you could be. How do you go about handling that pressure? Because you somewhere in that back of your mind, knowing that
okay, let's say I don't make it to the NBA, let's say I don't make it to the NFL, let's say I don't prosper to who I know I feel like I could be at that same time. I don't want to come back to my city. I don't want to come back and be like, oh, I failed. How do y'all handle that pressure? Because I know, even though I would like to say I'm much deeper into my athletic journey, I would like to know, like, how do you go about handling that pressure?
It's definitely a real thing. Like the pressure is there, but I feel like you gotta surround yourself around people that accept you for who you are. So like if you come back and you didn't make it to the NFL, you didn't make it to the NBA, they wouldn't love you any less. Like you're still the same person to them. Like your value to them does not change because you didn't make it to the NFL. If your value changes to them that you didn't like, make it, that means they're fake. They're a fake person. They're not real. You just gotta surround yourself with the people that support you regardless. But the pressure is definitely a real thing. And also just accepting like what reality is. If it's not meant to be, then it's not gonna be. That's it really.
I want to build off what he said, but also like I want you to keep a question in mind for whenever you are experiencing like stress and anxiety, like when it comes to sports and basically pleasing everyone. Are you worried about pleasing the creations or the creator? Because at the end of the day, all of this is not going to matter in your grave. So just take that anxiety and store it someplace that's more important. Like, oh, did I read Quran today? Did I do all my prayers today? There's more things that are important. And no, I'm not saying, oh, that ain't nothing. Like football ain't nothing. But I'm saying there are more important things, and no one's gonna remember this in 10 years. Okay, only you are gonna dwell on your own past. So just try to relax, and and just remember to prioritize the things that are more important.
Okay, so I want to add to what both of them said. First off, what he said, surround yourself with people who love you for who you are. Honestly, that is a great point. There is pressure in sports, but on the first step, I feel like everybody who plays sports should already think of themselves as a special person because not everybody can play sports. And the fact that you're good at what you do should already be like a congratulations to yourself that you're doing your best and you're really good at it. So even if you can't make it to the NFL or the NBA, it's the fact that you were almost there that matters. Like the fact that you took the steps to get there, it's really honestly what matters. And then with her, what did you say? Oh yeah, please the creator more than the creation. Are you playing sports for the people that are watching you, or are you playing sports for yourself? That's a question that I usually ask myself. Like when I'm playing sports, I don't really worry about what anybody else think. Like when I first started volleyball, I was trash. I was bad. I was not that good. But I didn't focus on what people were saying because honestly, people would watch from the side and they're like, she can't serve, get her off the court, blah, 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 blah. But I took those comments and I use it to help, like better myself and get better. So honestly, that is what matters. As long as you're playing and you're constantly getting better and you're having fun with what you're doing, then that's all that matters, to be honest. Don't worry about other people, just worry about yourself.
All right, we want the parents also to get involved in this because some of our parents, let's face it, give us hard time. And I know I gave my son a lot of hard time because I always tell him, one thing I do tell him is that he wants to be in the NBA. I said, do the math, you have 0.01% chance of being in the NBA. So let's be real, man. So a lot of times I always is sick of hearing that start from me right now. So we were driving back yesterday, actually, we were at College Station, right? He was playing a game there. So again, 0.01% chance of being an NBA. That's like 0% almost. So forget it. So we parents a lot of time we do give our kids a hard time. So I want our parents also, don't feel shy. I've seen someone ask a question over there. I want the parents to ask questions and how, for example, some of the parents believe that sometimes we have to pay a lot of money for these kids to play sport, right? He was supposed to travel to Florida. I said, I don't have money to go to Florida. It's too expensive. I do have the money, but it's just that I don't believe in it, for example. So what are the things the parents, oh, did I say that? What are the things, let's see the challenges from the parent side. How do you, so there's a question here. So,
Assalamu alaikum.
I have a couple of girls who were into basketball, and I did not like them to do that because it takes time away from their studies. But I told them if you can prove to me you can handle both, then I'll let you continue. And they did. So I was proud of them. They got to university level, then academics took over. My second question is from most of you to know, do you have like a role model or brother? I know Abdullah through your father, maybe you didn't introduce you to it, but seeing him playing. But the rest of you, do you have like a brother or sister or somebody that introduced the game to you?
Yes, actually. So the first sport I played was basketball, and I was in fourth grade, so I was about 9 years old. And I remember my sister, who's sitting over there, yeah, covering her face, Aisha. So basically, she was really good at basketball, and she always brought me like to the gym with my other sisters, and we was just playing around and stuff like that. And I remember making my first 3-pointer, and I was so proud of myself because I was so small, but. She definitely got me into actually doing basketball in my school and everything, and it was so fun. It was a great way to connect with like your siblings and have fun. And I remember my dad too. He brought us to the court in the weekends, on the weekends, and yeah, it was just a fun way to connect with your family and make friends. Doing it through your school and everything.
I have like a lot of role models, and when it comes to volleyball, but the main one has to be my coach. Unfortunately, he died a few months earlier, and I'll forever miss him. But he was probably the best coach that I ever had in my life, and I've had a couple. He was the one who made me feel comfortable playing volleyball as a hijabi because he was the one. Because honestly, in my school, when we play volleyball, our clothes are small and our shorts are small, and we're not allowed to make adjustments. He worked hard to make sure that I got what I needed to play volleyball and represent my religion in the way that I needed to do it. And when because I always stayed late at school because my parents were working, so they'll always pick me up late. He would stay with me till night so that I wasn't the only one left at school before he went home, and my mom would pick me up. And whenever I had problems when it came to like because honestly I still cannot sit, I'm very bad at that, but I'm able to be a good volleyball player today because of him. He would sit with me, he would coach me, and honestly, even though he made me run a lot of suicides, those were not fun. He still helped me become the volleyball player that I am today. So honestly, I would say I owe it all to him. Yeah.
As far as role models go, for me, I don't have a specific role model like for basketball, but for role models just in general for life, I feel like it's both my parents and my sister. So like seeing them work hard, because my dad and my mom and my sister, they all work hard at every single thing they do. My dad, he works almost every day. I see him work. My sister, she's Hafiz. I saw her go through the entire Quran like really fast. So seeing that every day, it just inspires me and motivates me to keep going in whatever I do, even though that they don't play sports. I've seen my sister try to play sports; it's not good. Um, yeah, even though they don't play, but just seeing them work hard in whatever they do, it just helps me and inspires me to keep going whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, Abdullah, you want to say something? All right. Yeah, Alhamdulillah. I'm very pleased with what you guys have been saying so far. Mashallah, you are prioritizing the religion, which is very important. One day I was driving to somewhere and I turned on using public media. I was listening to the radio and I heard what the commentator said about Alaji Akim Olajuwon. He said after they won the NBA championship, um, they want to do the parade, right? They used to wanted to do the parade, and then it falls on Friday. So what will happen is Alaji will miss the Juma Salah. So and because of Alaji's dedication, so they have to delay the parade for the entire city of Houston. And this was the comment that was being made by a non-Muslim. So I was very impressed. Then I've gotten some quotations from you guys. From Abdullah, one of your quotations that I got is that you should um, uh, okay, you should plan your programs around Solar, not Solar around the program. Mashallah, tabarakallah. Likewise, Amina, you said something that are you worrying about the creation or the creator? So these are very impressive. So we pray to Almighty Allah to make all of you steadfast, and to make all of us steadfast as well. And now, my question now, no, that's just the comment. Now, my question is, I'm still trying to process how you are able to pray or to play while you are fasting. So, what's your eating habits like? So, do you want to share with us? Maybe you have specific type of food that you eat before you start fasting, or maybe I should say that in my Ibadan accent, eating. Yeah.
Uh, to add to your comment, I remember my dad telling me like to relate to that story. Whenever you value Allah, Allah values you.
MashaAllah.
So
Allah
like,
Akbar.
him going to the prayer and then them delaying it just adds up to what like he said. So I see it aligned. But talking about what we eat, like we have a nutritionist, so we have like meal plans. So like we have breakfast, lunch, and then we have to have 3 meals. But if you're fasting, you could just eat morning and night. So, but we have a nutritionist. They tell us what to eat.
Okay, so it okay. So for as an athlete, as a track athlete, it was definitely a challenge physically and mentally. But at the end of the day, so okay, so in the beginning of the day, I woke up at like really, really early. I had to cook a weird like combination of foods that my coach gave me, to, like preserve energy and everything. I hated it, but I had to do it. I had to do it. So I woke up really early. I did what I had to do. I did my prayers and everything. But at the end of the day, like everyone was commenting, they was like, "I've never seen you like this, like tired, like lacking, energy and everything." Because usually I'm like so up-spirited, but at the end of the day, you have to have that mentality, like it's bigger than you, it's bigger than all of us. And on the day of judgment, I'm not gonna be looking, I'm not trying not to look crazy over here. Be like, they're gonna be like, "Why are you eating when you know like you're supposed to be fasting and everything? And where are your priorities exactly?" So basically, you have to just know what your priorities are. And if you have to sit it out, then sit it out. Alhamdulillah, I was not forced to. But I wouldn't knock anyone if they had to prioritize fasting rather than actually, participating in sports.
Okay, so I play tennis, and recently I was um, like looking at my GPA and all the requirements I would need to graduate and get into a good college. And I was like, for me to be able to get into the college of my dreams, I would have to quit tennis because of the strain sports has on your GPA. So I was wondering how you balance that because all of you mentioned very prestigious and good schools. So I was wondering how you balance that. Doing the sport that you love while also maintaining your GPA and getting into good colleges.
I mean, I know it's gonna be hard to do that, but at the same time, all the good schools like a good story. So like if you struggle going through like kind of balance tennis and keeping your GPA, like you have to go through that. That's what the good schools are interested in. Like the path that you took. Like if the path was easy, if you just quit tennis and then just focused on something, that's what majority of everybody does. And that's just like simple. But like if you're interested, like keep going and do this, do both, then they'll be interested in a good story.
Okay, you doing this.
I feel like it's just you have to ask yourself like, how bad do you really want it? If you really want to play tennis, then like I said earlier, it's really about scheduling and planning. And if you feel like you really want to play tennis and you really want to play tennis and you keep playing, you want to keep going, then you can just keep practicing and try to balance everything. But if not, then you can quit and just keep going with your life.
Okay, heavy on what Hanif said, because if you badly want it, you could figure out a way to arrange your schedule so that you're not behind. So basically, one of the things I did during my junior year was I actually scheduled my tests in advance before everyone else because on Fridays I had cross country meet, so we were out the entire day. We were like on a bus at like 5 a.m. And then we had our meet and everything. So I actually asked my some of my teachers to schedule my tests on that Thursday beforehand. And there was like I've never had a student want to do a test early, but like by doing so, I was ahead of everyone else, and I didn't have to worry about making up the test the next week and being behind on everything. Rather, I was in front of it. So I know you have to push yourself to like be able to learn the material ahead of time and study earlier. But if you're able to possibly, talk to your teachers and maybe arrange times and everything, maybe do tests after school so that you're not behind, like making up the test and being behind on schoolwork, then do that because it's definitely an advantage when you do that.
So unfortunately, we run out of time. We only have time now for two more questions. There's one. You put, yeah, there's one on the sister side and there's one on the brother side. Because of time, there is a request from Dr. I think I had to make an important announcement. So inshallah, we'll try to wrap it up in the next 5 minutes or so. So two more questions, one from the sister side and one from the brother side. Actually, it's a comment. Brother here has a comment. Maybe I should go first. Okay. All right.
Assalamu alaikum. We're so proud of you, you guys. I'm a basketball mom myself, and I will enjoin parents too. That one of the best ways that you can help keep your athletes in check too is by um, attending their games. When they know mom's there, dad's there on the side, they feel inspired, and it will also help them to behave better. And we pray that Allah will continue to guide them and make it easy for them and for them to reach the best of heights. So, my question to you guys is when you guys, in what you're doing, do you consider like taking a friend along, inspiring somebody else with you so that you won't be the only one because sometimes you need company. I mean, Shaitan sometimes will take the lone wolf. So if you have someone and you have a sister and there's two of you, you'll help each other to keep in check. Was it something you considered? Was it something you did? And how easy was it for you to be able to have someone to join you along the line? So.
Jazakallah khairan.
Okay, wait. Can I ask her a quick question?
Sure. Bismillah. There's a counter question for you.
No, it's just a quick question. When you meet like someone join you, you like inspire someone to play the same sport with you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not from from your friends.
Oh,
Your
influence.
family might take a long time.
Yeah, family, friends,
Oh,
somebody just
okay.
you inspire, so both of you can be on the same journey.
I have a friend. She's currently in what's it called? She's currently in 11th grade now. Well, actually, she's going to 11th grade. When she came to our school at first, she was new. She didn't know anyone, and I was the first one to go speak to her. And the same day that I went to speak to her was also the day that we were having volleyball practice. And she was saying that her dad was running late. So I told her, come in the gym and just wait for us while you can watch us while we're practicing and whatever. And she's also Muslim, but she's not a hijabi. So when she saw me, she saw me playing volleyball with all my friends or whatever. We're practicing, doing our daily exercises and stuff. And then when we're done, she asked me a very important question. She said, "How do you manage playing volleyball while sweating, but you're wearing all of this covering clothes? Because I wear long sleeve, and it's actually was very hot." So I told her I was like, honestly, I don't focus on the heat. I just focus on the game. So as long as you're focusing on what you're doing, then you can't really the rest of the stuff that I'm doing doesn't bother me. So, on looking back now, I don't know how I did it, but today she's a hijabi and she plays volleyball. So it's like,
Allah Akbar.
so I'm like,
That's a good inspiration, Allah Aisha. Takbir. Mashallah. Any other response? No? Okay. So sorry, I was told that this sorry.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I really appreciate this today's program, but I want to make a little connection between the sports and our daily life as parents, especially. You know, I myself have been involved in sports, different kind of sports for a long time, and hearing what our children really are saying today, Alhamdulillah, we still have good hope. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for that. But the parents, especially, I already have some of the comments that they talk about that you don't really have to be extremely good. Everybody's not going to be number one, that's for sure. So as long as you make effort and you try your best, that's good enough for us. Alhamdulillah. For the parent, because we have to go to work, there are different schedules, different responsibilities. How do you really connect these things? We have from Imam, he talks about the, like weak, strong Muslims are better than weak Muslims. That's part of the hadith that he said. Now being a participant or a sport participant really will help you in your daily life. First of all, it will keep you in shape. Alhamdulillah. It will help, it will give you motivation also. And then what some of our brothers talk about, that you work your schedule around what Islam permits, not Islam to work around you. That is very important. You're going to use this feature at work all the time, like communication also, discipline. When you, whether example, in my own case, at work right now, everybody knows me. They call me by Abdul. When it's time for prayer, they will remind me. When it's time for me to tell, like for instance, if I do something, when they order food, like the food, they will say, Abdul will not eat this. Is Abdul going to eat this? No, it's not going to eat this. No, don't let, no, let's ask him first. They will ask me. They try to compromise, they try to really, but they take your interest in there too. When majority of them are not Muslim before, when I started at my work right now, I was the only Muslim. Alhamdulillah, now we're about six. We thank Allah for that. And some of those, because all of us will, some people would like to say that they are weak. They don't want to know that they are Muslims or something like that. But they already know about me. So if these people that they hire, they do not practice, they say, hey, but Abdul doesn't do this. Why are you doing that? So that is another incentive that really pushes you too, whether you like it or not. Try, the bottom line is sports enables you to really give you the self-confidence, to really and if you're a Muslim especially, it lets you know that yes, that's a Muslim doesn't necessarily be weak. We are not weak, but we are really humble because of Allah. No matter Allah keep us helping us and help the community. Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah, that's a comment. We have a final comment. Then we, inshallah, call the. Oh, mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Um, I will just try to say a little bit, a couple of things about we Nigerian parents involving with sports, kids playing sports. Um, uh, I, I was a sportman. I played active sports. I came to this country about 35 years ago through sports. I play up to national level, table tennis. So, but now in the last 3 years, I've never been so familiar with basketball as I am now. I think I will just speak a little bit, on that basketball. I'm very, very familiar with basketball right now. 5 years ago, if you ask me, or 6 years ago, 7 years ago, if you ask me what is JV, I'll be like, what is that? What is varsity? I'll be like, what is that? So, but now, um, I'm familiar with it. It's a lot of hard work. It is. Uh, I can speak for many Nigerian parents. If your kid is playing basketball, let me just take basketball. Basketball, your kid is playing basketball, and you really, really want to commit to it. It's not a joke. It's a serious business. Believe me, it's a serious business. I don't care how much you spend, it can only represent 25%. The rest of 5% is your time. I'm talking about physical time. Like our sister said it earlier ago, that you have to be there. There is politics in what they do. There is politics in what they do. Believe me, the politics can work against you and it can work in your favor. Believe me, it's not a joke. And to anybody that playing AAU or varsity right now, what are they playing for? Everybody's playing for next level. What is next level? To secure scholarship, right? To secure scholarship. You wouldn't know, believe me, until that child secure a scholarship and it doesn't cost you a dime as a parent. Believe me, it's not a joke. Alhamdulillah, I have three boys playing, college, collegiate, and AAU right now. But what I'm trying to advise some of we Nigerian parents is that, believe me, we shouldn't be worried so much about them playing sports and at the same time trying to uh, uh, work along with their academics. Like Abdullah said a while ago, if you see any kids out there playing sport right now, he or she is passing, is getting good grades. Yes. If you are failing, you can't play. If you are failing, you can't play. No principal or coach will risk his or her job to put you in there. So what I'm trying to advise some of us right now is that, believe me, if you have kids playing sports, playing basketball, please, please, it is a serious business. It requires a lot of time. You must find time to be at their games. Believe me, don't just leave them out there by themselves. There are a lot of politics in this sport. You cannot just leave them out there by themselves. And no matter how much you spend, believe me, it can only represent 25%. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khair. I mean, that was well said. I mean, it's a way to round it up. It's sad. I've heard it that some parents, somebody was telling me before that, I'm a student athlete. My father has never stepped in one of my games, really. Or my parents, actually, both parents. So I think what the brother said here is really it's a very good summary, especially for the parents. You have to invest your time, even if you don't get a scholarship. The bonding you make, with your kids is something that they will always live to remember. So Jazakumullah khairan. Make it 1 second. So the brother here has a final remarks. I'll give it to him because we have to go for solar right now. So and there's an announcement. 1 second.
This is more so to the parents. Like, if you have a daughter or a son that really loves the sport that they play, they will, since it's more so for the love of the sport that they play. If they truly love football, basketball, soccer, tennis, whatever the sport they play, is that they will make sure that they can keep playing that sport that they love. They will find time to be disciplined in their academics as well as their religion, because they want to keep playing that sport that they love. You got to understand that at the same time, that the sport is still a secondary, and to be that secondary, they I don't even know how to say it, but like the first like the religion and the academics, we both all athletes, we know that comes first. That's why the student comes first in student athlete. You got to understand that, and they know, every athlete knows that, because they love the sport that they play so much, is that they got to be a great student, that they got to worry about their academics, so that they can, in order to play the sport that they love.
One more thing.
Jazakumullah
Sorry.
khair. I'll hand it back to our host. So to wrap it up and provide gift to the participant. Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna say one more thing before we start. For the kids that are over there, I know there's a lot of you that want to play basketball, that want to play whatever sport. you really have to ask yourself, because you heard from some of these parents that they're really willing to commit, and it's not cheap. You can ask my dad; he complains about it every day. You can ask him. You can ask parents in general. It's not cheap at all. So you have to ask yourself: do you really want it? Like, how bad do you really want to play this sport? And if you have to answer that question, if the answer is yes, if you really, really want to do it, that's when you can tell your parents, okay, I want to commit.
We're going to be presenting the panelist gifts. We're going to have Abdullah Wakugan and Yusra Dedran passing out gifts to the brothers and sisters, inshallah. Start. Yeah, you can start off with Abdullah Alajuan. Everybody give a round of applause for Abdullah Alajuan and Abdullah Faywan. We're going to give it to Hanif Ilyas next. Oh, pictures. Where's okay. Got you. Now we're going to give it to the sisters. Start off with Aisha Ajo. Inshallah. And we're going to move on to Amina Adisa, inshallah.
And I will also be adding one to our great host for his, mashallah, debut as a host. Takbir. And also one more, I have one more thing for somebody that really worked behind the scene that got all this happen. Abdullah Olapuga, come. Yeah. So please, before we round up, there's just an announcement. Let's wait. Hey, Zed, come back, please. There's an announcement by our medical team. It's a very important announcement about Shifa Clinic and all that. So please, let's wait for this important announcement. Dr. Deika will be joining us over Zoom, inshallah. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah. Please wait 1 minute.